everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk, and you are with me, Meera. Well guys, just this morning, okay, had I not had help from people around me, believe me, I wouldn't even have reached the studio to record videos for you. Yeah, I mean, I needed help in making breakfast and chopping vegetables and so many different things. And that's what got me thinking that at some point or the other, all of us need help or appreciate help or love being helped. In fact, you guys are here watching this video and you've come here because you need help in English, right? So we are going to learn some new expressions today, new ways to ask for help so that the next time when you want to ask for help, you can confidently do so, okay? So let's get cracking on this. I'm going to begin with would you mind, okay? Now here, would you mind is an expression to ask whether would you be annoyed if I ask you something. So in this case, mind actually means would you be distressed or annoyed. So I'm going to write annoyed, okay? So what are you going to ask? Would you mind helping me with my homework? Okay, would you mind helping me? Or you can ask, would you mind showing me where is the washroom? Okay, so would you mind showing me? Would you mind guiding me through your project? Okay, guiding me. Basically, what am I doing here? Basically, I'm adding different verbs over here. But the moment I say, would you mind, the person in front of me knows that, all right, this person is asking for help. Well, of course, you are going to see a lot of modal verbs here, right? Would, could, all over the place. And do you know why? There's a very, very simple reason to it. Because whenever you use different modal verbs, you actually are being grateful. You know, you're being very polite in asking for something. So when it comes to help, you're going to use a lot of modal verbs. All right? You might as well remember this because without them, you're just going to sound plain rude, which you don't want because you want help, okay? So, like you can see, I've added certain verbs here and you can complete the sentence with would you mind, right? All right, let's go to the next one. Here I have could you. Now, you can play around with this quite a lot, but the simplest way of asking for help with could you is, could you help me out? Okay, could you help me out with my project work? Or could you help me out with cooking dinner tonight? That means you're just asking if the person in front of you could help you out with any task that you require help for. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have could you do me a favor? Now guys, whenever we have this word favor, it means it's a gesture, it's a service. It is a kind act, okay? It is a service or a kind act of helping. Whenever initially I used to use this word as favor, I used to think that, oh my God, am I supposed to repay this or how am I supposed to give back to this person if I'm asking for a favor? But in reality, favor is nothing but a kind act that you expect out of someone. Could you do me a favor and drop me to the station today? Could you do me a favor and wake me up in the morning if I don't wake up? Could you do me a favor and finish this work for me? Basically, favor is a kind act done by someone for you. Okay, guys. Now, that brings us to the next one, which is, could you give me a hand? Now, whenever you say, could you give me a hand, remember that it has to be something which is an actual physical help, okay? So, could you give me a hand means physical help that you require. Now, you have really heavy boxes to lift, and you can ask your friend, could you give me a hand with these boxes? And then, obviously, your friend's going to go pick the box up and physically and keep it wherever you want. That means there is a physical help involved, okay? So, you have to remember remember it, very simple, whenever there is hand, physical hand, there is physical help, okay? Could you give me a hand with moving the scooter or the bike from one place to another? Physically moving it, okay? Now that's give me a hand. Similarly, I have another one for you over here, which goes, could you lend me a hand? As soon as I say the word lend, what do you understand? Right? You understand the word lend means that you're giving something in order to take it back in return. That's lending, right? Basically loaning. Well, whenever you say this, it actually suggests that if you help me now, I will make sure that I help you back. It's sort of a loan that you take from someone of help, and that you're going to be sure that you will return. Well, in this case, it need not necessarily be just physical help. It could be any help. Now, for example, could you lend me a hand and come with me to find a new apartment for me? Okay? Or could you lend me a hand and pick these oranges or the box of mangoes for me? I have a little pain in my back today. Or could you lend me a hand and hold this tripod? It's sort of heavy for me. Well, don't actually remember this as something to do with absolutely physical, but yes, as soon as you use the term hand, obviously you're referring to something physical. Lending means that you will definitely in return help that person back. Okay? I could use a hand. It's a simple phrase, all right? When someone is asking you, this happens usually when someone asks you, hey, do you need help with that bag over there? Well, I could definitely use a hand. Okay, that means you could use help. Now, whenever there is hand, I just want you to remember that you try and relate it with something that is physical. Well, this is only when people ask you if you need help, and you can go and say, I could definitely use a hand at this. Or maybe you're setting up decorations for a party, right? And people say, hey, you look really tired. Do you want us to help you with the decorations? You can say, I could totally use a hand right now. Thank you so much. Right? Isn't this interesting? Different ways that you can ask for help from people. Moving on, do you think you could help me? Well, now there are times when you are asking very generously, very gently. It could be in a professional environment as well. Now, for example, I'm having trouble with this laptop. Do you think you could help me? Right? I'm just going to try and end this over here so that there's no confusion, and just try and write it above. I am having trouble with the laptop. Do you think you could help me? I have heard that you're experienced in editing videos. Do you think you could help me? It's a way of asking someone if they could help you. As simple as that. But you will always have a sentence or a statement before this question comes. I'd appreciate some help is the one that is last. Well, here as well you can add something which is, usually how I would say it is, sorry to bother you but I'd appreciate some help. Here I simply mean to say, when I say bother, sorry to disturb you, but I'd appreciate some help. When I say appreciate, you usually are a little, desperate, but in a positive way, that you really need someone's help. And you appreciate, that means you have a lot of gratitude towards someone helping you when you really, really need it. And that is why I would suggest you to use this before this. Sorry to bother you, but I'd appreciate some help, okay? You would appreciate, that means you would be humble to receive it, and that you will have a lot of gratitude towards that person. Alright guys, so these were your different styles and different types of asking for help. The next time, just feel confident whenever you want to ask for help, and do not forget, try to use modal verbs and words that soften the question, making you look really polite. Well guys, that's all for today. I'm sure this must have helped you in some or the other way. This is me, Meera, signing off with telling you that keep practicing, keep smiling, and I'll see you very soon. Ciao!